Trial Protector System, Plasmid Lot 255. Dr. Suchong, client Ryan Industries. Very frustrating day. I can't seem to get the damn big daddies to imprint on the little brats. The protection bond is just not forming.
Papa Suchong?
Get away. Maybe if I modify the genetic sequence, the sequence to allow.
Now you are having freedom. Suchong's drugs should have no hold on you. Take the bathysphere to Point Prometheus. It is time for this matter to be settled.
only making it worse for yourself.
I'm not a big rat! dead? I'm real good. I didn't touch her! Kick your... Wait, I've turned away from your
A
life.
rapture reminder. Wanting an item from the service is forgivable. Buying or smuggling one into Rapture is... Stay on the level and out of trouble.
He offers salvation. It's on him.
I can be nice if I want.
He died for your sins. For your sins.
Come talk to me. You're gonna live.
I can't see you.
Clearly, I'm the better man.
I glory for you, brother. It's what you like. I know for the Bible I trade you. No! No! I hate things. I'm allergic. No! Not the beast! Let me out! No! Oh! I hate bees! No! 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 I hate bees! No! 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 Oh! No! No! It's drunk! No! Drunk!
You broke the spell! But laying all your chips on Mother Goose, it's not like you never been double-crossed before. You know what I'm saying? Hoof it the point, Prometheus. We'll discuss this like men. You, me, a submarine topside, and more at him than you can possibly imagine.
iconic and haunting, the Big Daddy and Little Sisters of BioShock immediately captivated the public's imagination. Big Daddy encounters defined the BioShock experience, creating new mechanics and techniques that had not been seen before in gaming. So Big Daddy, Little Sister, such an iconic moment or series of moments in this game. I'm fascinated about how that got layered in, because we talked a lot about the setting and the tone. That is still, to me, a mechanic that I remember was very unique about, choosing to engage the Big Daddy and being a fight that is going to be very aggressive and different than a traditional boss fight. I know you had an idea, Ken, of sort of 3 different types of AIs interacting in the same world.
Yeah, we were sort of like I was trying to think of like AIs you hadn't seen before, and this was still pretty early. Like 10 years ago, a lot's changed in 10 years. So like AIs were still pretty much enemies who saw you and came after you.
Zigzag, shoot.
Yep, and then that was really the focus, is how you make them, use AI better at you. So I started thinking about, are there more primal behaviors to think about? And I was watching a nature show one day, these typical nature shows, and it's like observe the mother tiger taking care of her young, one of those kind of things. And I realized that we don't even need a narrator on those shows. We understand certain behaviors just by looking at them. They're very primal, like somebody protecting their young, the predator-prey behavior. Those things were you don't need dialogue for that. And AIs at that point, we didn't have the ability to do a lot of sort of, smart AI. Yeah. So I said, well, what if their behaviors are just very primal, and we can model those behaviors? So aggro rules is something we knew we can model, right? How does an AI aggro on you? What are the rules for that? Could they make a aggression display rather than just attack? And can another character appear afraid and hide behind the skirts of another character? And we started talking about these things. And the Big Daddy became very quickly, the actual form of the Big Daddy became very quickly as sort of this protector creature. The Little Sister took a lot longer, ironically, even though it's a much simpler notion in a lot of ways. The initial idea came out of sort of watching a nature show, and we're trying to work within our constraints of we couldn't make super complex AIs.
That's the Big Daddy. She got it out of him. He keeps her safe.
Because when we first got the system up and running, this is before the play test, we weren't really thinking about player facing these things. And we had this entire system set up that completely simulated what would happen, and you'd play through the vertical slice and you walk into a room and everybody's dead, because the system would work perfectly.
Right.
You weren't there to see the fight. Yeah.
And we track they weren't called Little Sisters at the time, but we track how much they were harvesting, and it was all like a Command and Conquer level simulation.
Yeah.
And players didn't care or notice.
Yep.
And so we just abandoned all that stuff.
Yeah, so that took us a step towards, how do we present this to the player, then how do we make the gatherers, which we called them at the time before Little Sister design came on, like how do we make them empathetic towards the player? How do we make the player want to engage with that? Because at the time they were just slugs.
Right.
So which is
That's
a horrible
right,
design.
Originally were slugs, right?
Yeah.
Not actually.
Which is a horrible design in so many ways, because you don't care about slugs, and they're also on the ground, so you don't see them. They're not like at eye level, and they're dark. So
but you still have the trailer had like the same, or not the trailer, the demo, or prototype we did. So had the Big Daddy sort of like interacting with the little slug.
And slugs crawl around the Big Daddy? Or
no, it's this awful little mesh.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a little beetle, sort of.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And they were protecting.
And they had
protecting the beetles.
The beetles? What?
And
the Big Daddies had 2 drills. They didn't have a hand, so there's no way they could
It's just fascinating me because like the Little Sister, it's like there's such humanity in it, which you really connect with.
Which seems like
you would think
that
would be the obvious thing.
Yeah.
We're not very smart.
The idea of sort of choosing to engage the Big Daddy. I mean, when I was first time I played the game, that was always profound. It makes you sort of sit there and like, am I ready for this? And your choice to sort of like, the kind of opposite of stealth, like when you want to be discovered. Was that always the mechanic with the Big Daddy?
Yeah, the idea was that they would have very particular rules about engaging with you that were entirely dependent on how you, the threat level towards, not them, towards their creature they were protecting.
Yeah, that was set, and then as you worked through it, I'm sure there were conversations about how difficult do we make these fights and sort of the balancing of that, and even, you know, with the game, you don't start off with a Big Daddy fight. It's a little ways into the game until you actually get to that. So that was sure debated.
You actually encounter the notion of Big Daddy and Little Sister many times before you actually are freed into an arena where you can actually fight them. You see them
sneaking out, pipes.
You see them. You see them walking down a hall. The first time you see Little Sister, she's harvesting, and then you see the Big Daddy come and protect her. And we realized it was 4 or 5 sequences we had to do to set the stage for these characters. And look, we were hoping they'd be iconic and people would respond to the way they did, because we certainly spent energy on them with the expectation that they'd have an impact that we really just as easily could have turned out that nobody cared.
I think the actual very first time, and not a lot of people see it, there's a Little Sister in the vent in Kashmir restaurant that if you're looking in the right direction at the right time, you'll see her looking at you, and then she'll disappear into the vent.
It's the eyes.
No, it's the actual mesh.
Is it the mesh?
Because it was easier to do that
right.
than new eyes, but yeah.
Move! Move!